four horsemen of the apocalypse. They are galloping right now on the planet.
Ohio, the King of Kings is now ashes to ashes. A 6-story tall statue of Jesus with his arms raised to the sky burned to the ground after a lightning strike lit the sculpture on fire.
The statue itself is totally destroyed.
Within hours of Pope Benedict announcing that he was to resign, lightning struck St. Peter's Basilica.
People in the Urals in Russia have seen burning objects raining down from the sky.
Well, we don't know what this means, but we can show you an extraordinary photograph of an extraordinary lightning strike at the Christ the Redeemer statue. It cracked part of a thumb.
The Pontiff used the service to call for peace and reconciliation in Ukraine, and to symbolize this, the children released 2 white doves into the air.
Lost for centuries, a rare bronze statue of the Greek god Apollo has mysteriously resurfaced in the Gaza Strip. A local fisherman says he scooped the 500-kilogram god from the seabed.
The 6-foot-tall statue is at least 2,000 years old.
US President Barack Obama has warned Russia that any military intervention in Ukraine would lead to unspecified costs.
World leaders wearing bizarre Illuminati eye-style pyramid badges. The center stage for the summit included these Egyptian-style hieroglyphs, an iris in the middle suspended above a holographic style.
A young man was killed in northern Italy on Thursday when a 600-kilogram statue erected in honor of Pope John Paul II collapsed and crushed him. Part of the 30-meter-high sculpture collapsed at a ceremony ahead of the Pope's canonization.
Nimrod, Ishtar, Astarte, the Queen of Heaven, Asherah. In Wicca, they know her by many different names. In every single pagan religion, there is a goddess, and all of these goddesses stem from the same lies, but they're just repackaged. The Statue of Liberty. When you really open your eyes, you start noticing and witnessing goddess worship all around you. And with goddess worship, we have sun god worship, where there's sun worshippers that worship Baal. And what do you do as a believer when you're questioned on this topic? What do you do as a believer when you have congregations that will mix in Easter with the resurrection of Jesus Christ? The origins of these occult traditions within the church. The church is losing a battle. And the reason the church is losing right now a battle in terms of allowing so many false doctrines to come in terms of allowing all of this wickedness to come in the church, the prosperity gospel, the word of faith movement, so many different branches of false teachings that are taken to an extreme that pollute the church. Why is it that all of these things have happened? Why is it that the church is at the status that is in? God tells us not to worship him as the heathens do. In 1 Samuel 12:10, we see 2 names, which if you search throughout history, you will notice that they all have their origins in Genesis 10 and 11 with Nimrod and his family. God has given the church instructions. In Kings 11:33, because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians. We're talking about goddess worship. There's nothing at all in the Bible that tells you to worship Jesus Christ with an Easter bunny. You just will not find it. but you sure do find that there was a goddess that was worshipped. And that God forbade them from worshiping the Queen of Heaven. Yet they still did. In Genesis 10 and 11, we see what happened with Nimrod. Nimrod disobeyed God. Nimrod led men into a rebellion against God. When Nimrod passed away, he was cut up into 14 pieces. Once these 14 pieces were cut up, Semiramis had people look for these pieces. She found all of the pieces except one, and that was his male reproductive organ. So because she couldn't find his male reproductive organ, they had the obelisk made in the name of Nimrod, which many proclaim that it is Osiris in quote-unquote secular history. But you have to understand and you have to realize that these occult, wicked things are now located in the large majority of world governments. In front of Washington, D.C., they have the obelisk. In front of many church buildings, they have an obelisk. That is a representation of Nimrod, Baal, male's reproductive organ. Now ask yourself, what does the church get by associating himself with Ishtar, with Ashtoreth? What does the church gain?
The Washington Monument has been closed indefinitely whilst repair work is carried out following last month's earthquake. Visitors won't be able to go up the iconic tourist attraction. Structural engineers are assessing the damage on both the inside and outside of the building. On August 23rd, a 5.8 magnitude quake shook the obelisk, causing dozens of pieces of stone to fall inside it. The monument's elevator was also damaged. It's unknown how long the site will be closed while work is undertaken to make it safe for the public. Completed in 1884 and standing at almost 170 meters, the monument is the tallest structure in Washington, the world's tallest obelisk, and the world's tallest building made of stone.